The traveling circus is definitely a team of serial killers. The key to their killings is their tent. Have you ever been in one of their tents? They're confusing. I think they're actually designed to be confusing, right? That way, people get lost in them. Then, once they're lost for like 5 or 10 minutes, the circus freaks pick them off and then, have their way with them, right? Um, they they wear all this makeup so that they can easily move the body around, and if they get caught moving this dead body around, no one knows who they are because they're wearing all that makeup, right? Um, yeah, and then there are no cameras in the tent, right? So even if they do get caught and someone calls the cops have nothing to review, because one, that person that called the cops can't get back to the spot that they were in where they saw something they felt they needed to call the cops in, and there's no cameras, so what can the cops review, right? Okay, but what if people don't wander off and get lost? So, if people don't wander off and get lost, that's where their act comes in. So, that's why they do all that freaky stuff, because they want to freak people out and get them to leave, right? So, they freak these people out, and then they try to get them to leave the show. And there are less people around if they get freaked out and try to leave, right? So when they're trying to leave alone, right? They're trying to leave the tent. That's when they grab them, right? Because no one's going to see that because there's less people around. There might be one or two trying to leave the show at the same time, but it's not at the same time, right? So that's when they strike, right? They get them before they leave the tent. And then they hide them, right? They have all these little freaky boxes and things to store things in, right? So they put that person that they grabbed in one of their boxes, until everyone leaves the tent, right? And then their tent has like a bottom hatch, and what they do with this bottom hatch is they go under it and they start, chopping up the body, and then they dig a hole and they bury the body parts in that hole, and that way there's nothing in the tent and no one knows they even left the tent, because underneath that hatch is still technically in the tent and no one will notice, right? So, and then they just leave, right? They bury that hole, or they cover up that hole, and then they leave. So no one knows that they did anything, right? That's how they get away with it, right? There's zero evidence in the tent, and they stay far too short of a time in one city for anyone to suspect that those circus clowns did anything, right?